ever just, put your whole heart into something like a project at work or um, even just a friendship. And it's like the other person, they're just not feeling it the same way. It's like
Mhm.
this weird, almost universal experience of unrequited love. And that's actually what we're diving deep into today. We've got this source that's all about this complex emotional landscape of unrequited love.
It's definitely something that resonates with a lot of people.
It really does.
This source, it really highlights how, like, we all experience and express love so differently, and sometimes it just doesn't line up the way we hope.
Right. And the source actually uses this phrase. It was like, love is personal. And it really stuck with me. What do you think makes love so individual?
Well, it's a bunch of things, right? Like, think about it. It's
Okay.
how we're raised, it's our past relationships, the values we pick up along the way. All that stuff mixes together and shapes how we experience love, how we give it, how we receive it.
Mm.
And so what one person thinks is like a really big deal, really meaningful, might just totally fly over someone else's head. It's almost like we each speak our own, like, love language or something.
I like that, like different dialects of love.
Yeah.
So then when those dialects clash, when that love isn't reciprocated, the way we pictured it, that can be really painful.
Oh, absolutely.
The source even says it can be almost like a grieving process.
It really
Yeah.
can. You feel that loss, that sense of, like, where did it go wrong? Even when, logically it's not about placing blame or anything like that, but still, you're left with this ache of, why don't they see it the way I do?
It's so true, that feeling of if only I could just make them see it my way. I've totally been there.
Yeah.
It can really mess with your head, make you question everything.
And that's where things get really complicated, I think,
Yeah.
because we start to take that rejection personally.
Yeah.
We internalize it, start thinking, well, maybe if I was more lovable or
Oh,
something.
yeah. If only I loved differently. It's like this trap.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this source, it really challenges that thinking.
Okay, good.
It's like, hold on. Your love isn't wrong, okay? It's just that sometimes it lands in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Maybe the other person just isn't equipped to appreciate it the way you're expressing it.
It's just not the right fit.
Right, and recognizing that can make a world of difference.
It's just not the right fit. Yeah, I like that. It takes the pressure off a little,
It really does.
Because it's not about like changing who you are or how you love, just maybe accepting that this particular person, they're just not the one for it.
That's exactly it. And this source, it actually talks about how, like, holding on to that mismatched love,
Mm.
trying to force it where it doesn't belong, it can actually really hurt us in the long run.
Because then you're just setting yourself up for disappointment or settling for less than you deserve.
Yeah, both of those things. We end up compromising what we really need, chipping away at our own self-worth. All for this love that's honestly probably not even good for us. It makes you wonder why we even do it,
I know. It's like, what are we so afraid of?
right?
Is it being alone? Or is it like that pressure from, I don't know, society or whatever to be with someone? Even if it's not like the right someone.
I think that definitely plays a part for sure. I mean, a lot of us feel that, but this source, it kind of digs a little deeper and talks about this, like human need we all have for familiarity, even if that familiar thing isn't actually good for us.
So it's like it's easier to stay in that situation we already know, even if it's kind of crappy, than to face the unknown, right?
Exactly. It's almost like we convince ourselves it's better to have some kind of love, even if it's not a good fit, than to risk being alone.
Makes sense, but it's kind of a bummer.
It is. But get this. The source actually says that rejection, even though it hurts, can be a gift.
Wait, a gift? That's kind of harsh, don't you think? Most people, like, they see rejection as a bad thing, myself included.
Of course, it
Yeah.
definitely stings. But think of it this way.
Okay.
That rejection, that no, however it comes, it's really just freeing you up
Freeing you up
to give your love to someone else, someone who will actually appreciate it.
Mhm.
It's like one door closes, maybe the door you were trying to, like, break down, and suddenly, bam, another one swings open onto this whole new path, something that actually aligns with who you really are.
Okay. That's a much better way to think about it, I have to say.
Right.
So instead of being all bummed about the rejection, you can kind of see it as a chance to learn and grow. Easier said than done, probably.
Absolutely. It takes practice. But that's where this source brings it all back around to this really important idea, self-love.
Self-love.
It says that really loving yourself, like truly and deeply, that's the most important thing when dealing with any kind of love. but especially when it's unrequited.
I feel like we hear a lot about self-love these days, but it's one of those things that's like easier said than done, you know?
Yeah.
For sure. It's like, how are you supposed to feel good about yourself when someone else is basically saying, nah, you're not really doing it for me, you know?
It's a tough one, no doubt. And the source, it actually addresses that directly. It's like, look, your worth, whether you deserve love, it doesn't depend on someone else's feelings.
Right.
Doesn't matter if they feel it back or not. You're worthy of love, period.
Wow. Okay, so it's about like separating how you feel about yourself from what other people think about you.
Exactly.
Easier said than done, though.
It takes time, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially, if you're used to looking for validation from other people. Like, we all do it to some extent.
Yeah.
But this source is saying, you got to set those boundaries. Decide what you're okay with, what you're not okay with. And that goes for how you treat yourself, too.
Oh, interesting.
It's about recognizing that sometimes choosing yourself, even if it hurts in the moment, that's the most loving thing you can do.
So you're saying, like, even if it feels good to stay in that situation where your love isn't really appreciated, it might actually be hurting your self-love in the long run.
Exactly. You get stuck in this pattern where you're giving, 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 and getting nothing back. It's draining.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, this isn't about pointing fingers or blaming anyone. It's about recognizing what's happening in your own life and making choices that are good for you.
Choices that fill your cup, so to speak.
Yes.
So, okay, let's say someone's listening to this right now and they're really going through it, dealing with this unrequited love thing. What's like the most important thing they should take away from all this? What's the one thing they can start doing today to feel better?
I'd say, remember this. Your love, what you have to give, it's a gift. It really is. And you deserve to share that gift with someone who's going to appreciate it.
Mm.
Don't let someone else's inability to love you back make you think you're not worthy or that you're not capable of being loved. Let it be this opportunity to grow, to find a love that actually fits, that feels right. You are worthy of that love, even if it hasn't shown up in the way you thought it would.
That's really beautiful. And who knows, maybe that incredible love you're looking for, maybe it starts with loving yourself first.
Well, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for taking this deep dive with me. It's definitely given me and hopefully everyone listening a lot to think about. Until next time, remember you deserve a love that lights you up.